Okay, this tutorial is going to be looking at creating navigation buttons that allow you to jump through screen sets, which you can do by pressing the number pad buttons on your keyboard. But if, for example, you want something more visual, or you forget which numbers are associated with which screen set, then creating your own navigation buttons can be quite fun and quite useful and look quite cool. So it's a bit like creating navigation that you'd see on a website, really, but for your Logic project and for different windows to display different things. So the way you need to do it, first of all, you need to create yourself several screen sets. So I've created 3 screen sets here. I've created an arrange page, which is assigned to screen set number 1, a mixing desk, full-size mixing desk on screen set 2, and on screen set 3 I've currently got the arrange page, which I don't want. I want to see a full-size keyboard piano roll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the piano roll in its own window, close down the arrange page, and then I'm going to go to screen set 3 and just unlock and lock that again, and I'm going to rename it piano roll in capital letters. Alright, so using the number pads on my keyboard, obviously it's quite easy to remember 3 screen sets, and I could remember that number 1 is the arrange page, 2 is the mixer, and 3 is the piano roll, but for this example I'm just going to use 3 screen sets, otherwise the tutorial will go on for too long. Okay, so the next thing we're going to use is the environment window. If you've never used this before in Logic, then you should check it out and have a play. It's been around for donkey's years, and it's quite a powerful tool back in the older versions of Logic. Okay, so yours may open up default onto showing you a mixing desk. And this environment window essentially allows you to create components, build your own mixing desks, build your own physical MIDI inputs, physical audio inputs. It allows you to sort of construct anything you want, really. So we've got different things here for MIDI instruments, inputs and ports, various things. We'll come back to this and look at this in a bit more detail at another stage. I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to call it navigation. Okay, so there we are, we have navigation. And I'm going to go to new. You've got various things here in the environment window. You can create your own faders, your own buttons, you can construct your own sort of control surfaces essentially that could be mapped to any aspect of Logic and control anything you like. And I'm going to go to the fader drop down menu, down to the special option if you're using Logic Pro 9, and go to screen set. You can create buttons for anything. As you can see here, you can create buttons that go to a certain marker, or you can assign them to tempo control, for example, anything you want. So I'm just going to do go to screen set. Okay, and it gives you a rather basic looking fader. Moving that fader up and down will jump me through different screen sets, but I don't want faders, I want to have buttons. So I'm going to click on my little icon I've created, then over here on the left hand side where it says style, auto style, I'm going to change that to as button. You've got different buttons you can create that just visually look slightly different. I'm just going to choose a standard button, and I'm going to just resize the button and make it nice and chunky. Okay, it's currently just called go to screen set. I'm going to change that, and I remember my first screen set was the arrange page, so I'm going to call this button arrange. Okay, and I'm going to, where it says range over here, 1 to 20, this is basically saying it can scroll through 20 different screen sets. I don't want it to do that, I want it to just display my first screen set. So I'm going to change the range from 1 to 1. Okay, and I'm going to colour the button in as well. So if I go to View drop down menu, make sure the button's selected, Colours, and I'm going to make it a nice red. Make a different colour for each button. Okay, so that's it. First button is meter output. It's controller number 49 on channel 7, and the range is 1 to 1. And I've coloured it in, and I'm now going to duplicate this button a couple more times for my other screenshots. So to do this, just hold the Alt key down, click and drag. Okay, fantastic. And make sure they're sort of kind of aligned. As far as I remember, there is an option for aligning the yeah, there we go. So on the options drop down menu, you can position by grid, for example. You can clean up and align it to wherever you want. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to quickly amend my other two buttons. I'm going to have this one going to screenshot 2, so I'm going to change the range to 2, and I want this one going to 3, so I'm going to change that from range 3 to 3, and I'm just going to rename them as well. I'll call that one, that was a mixer overview, and my next one was the piano roll. Okay, so still looking a little bit, let's change the colour of each of them as well. I'll make that one a nice blue, and I'll make that one a green, I think. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to tidy up and keep the navigation on every single page. I'm going to go to the View drop down menu. I'm going to take the inspector off, and I'm going to do frameless floating window. And I'm then going to shrink down the window size to display the navigation buttons in a bit more of a tidy sort of fashion. And I'm still on screen set 1, as you can see here, and I've just added my buttons to screen set 1. I'm actually going to move the whole window up. I'm going to have this kind of thing like that, and just unlock. I'm going to lock just to make sure it's all cool, the arrange page, and then I'm going to go to screen set number 2, which we can test with our button by clicking mixer. Hopefully this will go, yep, to screen set 2. But I also want to see the buttons down there again as well, so I'm going to have to open up the environment, and same thing, take view off, inspector off, frameless floating window, resize it, stick it somewhere like down in the corner. Okay, and I'll just lock that one as well. So I'm just going to lock, unlock, and lock there. So just quickly check, arrange page, mixer, arrange, mixer, and third one, piano roll. Again, I've lost my environment window, but I can pop that back in. Go to Windows, Environment, tidy up the view. Okay. So, you know, it does take a little bit of time to set this up. And, oops, didn't do that one quite right. Select window. So we'll go to unlock and lock, and then we should, there we go. So you've created a little navigation bar for loading up different screens. Obviously, yeah, you can use the keys on the keyboard to do exactly the same thing as I'm demonstrating here, but it's quite nice, you know, if you're creating a template. You can do this once, you could save your template, And you could use it in all your recording sessions and just have your own kind of customized navigation in Logic, which would can be quite cool. That's how you do customized navigation.